The last thing I want to mention is about Safiya bint Huyay. Because, I mean, for example, remember when you had the discussion with Tommy Robinson, he kept mentioning Safiya bint Huyay. So it seems to me that the right wing and all these individuals, they bring up the issue of Safiya. And what Tommy Robinson, if you remember, I remember this discussion, this was probably one of the areas where Tommy Robinson was making the biggest lies and fumbles. And he needs to, and this is a great way to correct him. Where Tommy Robinson, thinking that he knows what he's talking about, and of course he doesn't know anything, stated that, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sorry to say, but he forced into sexual intercourse Safiya bint Huyay.
Tell me how Mohammed met his wife Safiya. On the same night that he killed her husband and her brother, he then married her that night. Yes. So you think she willingly married him? Yes.
And this was his argument, and this is the argument of people like Robert Spencer and David Wood, which he took it from them, just to be clear, because there's a genesis of ideas. Tommy Robinson is not a free thinker. He doesn't know how to access sources. He doesn't have time to go into these things. So he'll rely upon people like David Wood, and you can see him liking their posts and stuff like that. The argument was that he forced himself upon her because she didn't have any menstruation or whatever it may be, and he just took her as a slave and he forced her, and because how could it be, he would incredulously ask, how could it be that a woman who has just been in a war and her father has been killed would now marry the leader of the opposing war? So the only legitimate way that we can think of this is that if he had forced himself upon her. This is the argument. So there's ways to answer this. And the ways to answer this is, number one, it's very clear that in the hadith, if you want to take the hadith, because if you're using the hadith to justify the position, then you have to use all the hadith. Stated in the hadith, your father remained the staunchest Jewish enemy to me until Allah the Almighty killed him. O Safiya, if you choose Islam, I will keep you as my wife. If you choose Judaism, I may release you and you join your people. So clearly, if he's forcing himself upon her, why is he giving her a choice? It's hadith saying you can choose this or you can choose this. And he's not saying if you choose Judaism, you'll remain as a slave here and a prisoner of war. In fact, he's going further than that. And remember, her people are free. Her people are not expelled or something. They're in Khaybar. He says, you can go back, khalas. If you don't want to be with me, you don't have to be. And then she stated in the hadith very clearly, O Messenger of Allah, the Almighty says, وَلَا تَزِرُ وَزِرَةٌ وِزْرَ أُخْرَى, that no one shall bear the soul of what another person does. I appreciate Islam and I have believed in you even before I ended up in your custody. Moreover, I am in no need of Judaism, nor do I have a father or brother under it. Since you have given me an option to choose between Islam and disbelief, I do prefer Allah and the Messenger. Now someone will say, maybe this hadith is weak, maybe it's this, maybe that, maybe the other. No problem. Even if someone does say that, we have the ayah from the Quran, which is the ayah in kuntunna turidna al-hayata ad-dunya wa zinataha fata'alay umatta'kunna wa usarrihkunna sarahan jamila in Surah Al-Ahzab, which is that if you, O wives of the Prophet, if you want to prefer the life of the adornments of this life, I will let you go. And all scholars of Islam say this was efficacious on all the wives, including Safiya bint Huyay. Meaning a choice was explicitly given. If you want to accept it from the hadith, then it's in the hadith. If you don't want to accept it from the hadith, then the choice was explicitly given to all wives as per the ayah in the Quran. If someone says, I don't accept the Quran or the hadith, we'll say, well then, you don't even have a right to believe that a man called Muhammad married a woman called Safiya, let alone to claim such and such about it, because you're getting this from the hadith. There's only one source, which is the Islamic narrative. So this is a clear response to those who believe the argument. And look, it shows you that the Prophet ﷺ not only had this relationship, he was very protective, and I've put a hadith there, where the Prophet ﷺ was very sick in his last days. Safiya said, if it was up to me, I would take this sickness from you. And some of the wives were rolling their eyes and acting in a very bad manner or saying some things under their breath. And the Prophet ﷺ protected her against the wives. And we know that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ protected Safiya against the wives when they were attacking her because she was Jewish. And he said, well, you come from a holy lineage. And this by far is one of the best arguments against those who say Islam is an inherently anti-Semitic religion, whereby they define anti-Semitism as attacking Jews because they are Jews. Because Islam, if it was an anti-Semitic religion, why is the Prophet Muhammad, number one, marrying an ethnic Jew? He married an ethnic Jew. Number two, responding to the other wives and giving her, words to say and arguments to make against the other wives on the basis of her noble lineage, which happens to be a Jewish lineage. This is decisive evidence.